Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Taylor, and we are reading from r/Am I Overreacting today, so let's get right into it. Our first story is from Otter on a Road Trip, and we've got a bunch of screenshots of a text conversation, so let's read that first. Is your name really, I'm gonna give them the name Sarah. Since it's censored, we're just gonna call them Sarah. Is your name really Sarah? That's a cool name. Yes, thank you, LOL. Okay, not saying Sarah isn't a cool name, but it's not a unique name, so, okay, not sure why I picked that. I could have picked something crazier, but my brain's tired. We're not doing that. No, okay. Unique name for a unique person, I guess. Okay, my point stands. Unique name for a unique person, I guess, LMAO. You're kinda odd, actually. She replies, oh, really? How so? I mean, everyone can see it, not just me. Jimothy agreed that you're odd. No shot. Sunglass emoji. What did he say? Doesn't matter. I'm here to tell you that you might be slightly on the spectrum, which is totally fine. Like, I've exclusively dated neurotypical girls so far, but I guess there's a first time for everything. LOL. What is this guy on about? Dude, did you just diagnose me? What am I reading? LMAO, this is not real. Then he replies, women tend to mask it well, but it's an area that's being studied. What is he saying? Posts random autism study. I also suspect that attractive women are diagnosed even later because they get plenty of positive social feedback and their traits fly under the radar like yours are, LOL. Why is she still responding to this weirdo? I'm gonna name him Kyle, because she addresses him by name. Kyle, are you kidding me right now? I am not autistic. What are you even talking about? You've only dated neurotypical girls? Why would I care about what you have or haven't dated? Are you living on planet Earth? Okay, valid crash out, but I really don't know why you're still texting this guy. I mean, he's obviously trying to get with you, trying to date you, so it's like he's shown his cards. He's a weirdo. Get out. Oh, and are you surprised? Of course, he replied. And it gets worse. Gotta get up close and personal for this one, all right? Relax, sugar buns. I'm open to girls like you, so this shouldn't be a problem. Okay, that's nasty. Sugar buns? What? All of my exes have been tall blondes, but I'll guess I'll give the green-eyed brunette a chance? Nodding head emoji. I kind of find it hard to believe that this guy has had any exes, but I don't know. Maybe he has enough charisma to get it done or something. I don't know. And then I love the OP's response. Get a load of this guy. And then she says, I am so honored, Kyle. Wow, really? This is the best day of my life. Then Kyle says, since when do autistic people do sarcasm? You're an advanced autist. Huh? A lot of genetic manpower went into making that face, so there was nothing left for the brain? What is this guy saying? Anyway, that's the last message. I really hope she stopped texting this guy back because what a weirdo. And also he's like, when do autistic people do sarcasm? Okay, so fun fact about me, I am diagnosed autistic, and yeah, we can do sarcasm. I don't really understand sarcasm, like quite often I'm easily tricked. I guess I don't know what the best way to say this is, but when someone says something sarcastic to me, I usually can't tell, but I can say sarcastic things all day, every day, but I don't understand it when someone else says it. So anyway, I love the response of the get a load of this guy meme. That was gold, but why did you talk to this weirdo? Maybe you enjoy wasting your time. I don't know. Now the messages alone were a story in and of themselves, but I'm going to read her little write-up down here. Basically, I, 21F, met this guy, 22M, at a friend get-together. He was invited by a mutual. He was really loud and cocky, and I just really didn't like his vibe at all. Like, I mentioned a niche hobby of mine, and he kind of made fun of it. I don't know. I didn't give him my number, but he got a hold of it somehow, and we've been texting a bit. All right, you've got some weird friends or something, because someone obviously gave him your number without your consent. That's weird. Also, why do you text back at all? Like, that's just, I don't know. I don't get people. Like, our next story is from Throw Raw Girlless 890. Okay. Am I overreacting at my date for making subtle racist comments? All right, let's see how subtle they actually were. I am 20 female, and I went on a first date with Mike, 29 male. Hold up. You're 20 years old, and you went on a date with a guy who's pushing 30. That's a little weird. Anyway, for context, I am Indian, and he is British. He is known to be the nice guy in our friend group. Run. Why are you on this date? Before he says a word, run. This is weird. Anyway, we had been texting a lot prior to having a date, and in the 3 months of texting, I started to notice red flags. He was initially very respectful of me and my race, but then he started making subtle remarks like, Indians have a insert racist shallow thing problem, or Indians aren't liked in the UK at all, but then switching to, nah, Indians are loved in the UK? They just smell awful sometimes. Ew. Okay, these aren't really that subtle. So this is just nasty. But I get you're 20. I get your brain's not developed yet at all. But why did you go on a date with this guy? Ew. Anyway, I ignored that. Why? Because I thought he's just making a lighthearted joke, as he always does. Oh yes, lighthearted joke. Calling Indian people like nasty. Okay. That's gross. So we go on a date finally, and it's going so well. And then he starts making fetishizing remarks about me. I get visibly uncomfortable, and he notices, so he apologizes and stops for a while. But in between the conversation, he says Indians are seen as people who take a dump like outside in the street. And I say most of that is just trolling by trolls online. I have met amazing Europeans and none of them care. And he says, keep telling yourself that. And at that point, I had had enough. Man, it took a lot for you to have enough. Gosh. I lashed out at him for his disgusting remarks and stormed out of the restaurant. He kept texting and apologizing later on, but I feel so disgusted at him. Our mutual friends keep insisting that he was joking, and I'm being dramatic because apparently he's the prize and he's the nicest guy ever. What do I do? Am I overreacting? No, of course not. You've got massive age gap. You've got racist. You've got known as the nice guy, which generally is not a good thing. If we're using the term nice guy like the way we usually use it, it's usually not a good thing. Being a good person or a nice person is very different from being the nice guy. Our next story is from Electronic Rip 8108. Am I overreacting because my boyfriend wanted me to change before the gym over a color? Yesterday, my boyfriend and I were about to leave for the gym together. I threw on a blue workout top with black shorts, something simple and comfortable that I've worn a bunch of times before with zero issues. And then they sent in a photo, and we can see here, all right, it's a blue shirt and black shorts. Absolutely nothing like raunchy or potentially like scandalous. I don't know. I don't know. It looks fine to me. It's just a shirt and shorts, like typical gym stuff. Honestly, that's a lot more coverage than a lot of people wear. It's like, what is his problem? What issue does he have with this? Right as we were walking out the door, he stopped and said the color of the top looked kind of weird and people were going to stare at me if I wore it. He asked me to go change into something more normal before we left. Literally wears the most normal shirt I've seen, other than like, I don't know, it's got a bit more of like a V shape instead of like a straight cut around the bottom, like shirt opening. I don't know. Maybe that's like part of workout shirts. I don't work out, so I don't know. Holy self-report. They continue. I was kind of caught off guard, honestly. It's just a blue top. Nothing flashy, nothing revealing. I actually liked how it looked on me and felt comfortable in it, which is kind of the whole point of gym clothes. I don't mind if he has opinions on my outfits every now and then. That's a normal couple thing. But this felt less like, hey, I think this color doesn't suit you, and more like he was worried about how other people at the gym would perceive me and wanted me to change based on that. It just didn't sit right with me. I don't know, in my opinion, if you actually love the person, doesn't matter what outfit they put on, what color they wore, you're going to think they look great. Also, you're going to the gym. It's not that deep. If you're going out to like a wedding and you're like helping, you and your partner helping each other out for trying to make sure your outfits look perfect, maybe be a little bit more picky at that point. I don't know. I ended up just going along with it because I didn't want to start an argument right before working out, but I've been thinking about it ever since. Am I overreacting for being annoyed about this? Okay, that's really sad that you're pressured into going and changing your perfectly normal shirt, even if it wasn't just about the color. Like, that's still weird. One of the top comments is, LOL, is he in a gang? Yeah, like she's wearing the rival gang's colors or something. I don't know. Next top comment says, I ended up just going along with it because I didn't want to start an argument. Do you do this often in this relationship? That is the most insidious aspect of abuse. If you have to change behavior to avoid another argument, get out of that relationship. Another comment says, why does this feel like something that would be circulating in the manosphere, like testing one's partner to see how far the man can push and control over the most minuscule things? Yeah, actually, I didn't think about that. Like testing to just pushing and starting with little things, getting full control over that. Then it moves on to bigger things and bigger things. That is gross, and definitely a possibility. She also might have just been wearing the rival gang's colors, and, in that case, you got bigger fish to fry. Our next story is from Drippy Sage 08. Am I overreacting, or did I have a slow moment? Now, this story comes with some screenshots from a text message conversation, but it's a little confusing, so we're going to start with the story here. Me, male 25, and the female 29 have been chatting for some time now. We went on a date, and it went well. She has a 2-year-old daughter, which I don't have a problem with, but for context purposes, I mentioned it. We haven't had any issues, and things have been slow, but still fine. Of course, I accommodate for her being a mother, so I don't rush trying to see her often, but this interaction was kinda weird. All right, with that context, we can go and read the text messages now. All right, so she says, "You still awake?" He says, "Yeah." "Did you look up what helps for recovery when you have E. coli? LOL. Oh dear. Maybe the kid's gotten into something? Ugh. So he says, "Just fluids for real, and liquid IVs. Also bananas help food-wise." That is not what I asked, LOL. What do you mean? Read it again. I'm confused. I basically said yes. You didn't. You just started listing things, and that's not at all what I asked. What is she talking about? She's like, did you look up what helps? And he says fluids, liquid IV, bananas, stuff like that. Obviously, he gets the message. He Googles, looks it up. Found the info, and then types it out, sends it. That's very normal. Most people text like that. But I suppose she was specifically wanting him to say, yes, madame, I did. And I found glorious amounts of amazing information to share with you at your earliest convenience. Is that the response she's looking for? I don't know. And then, and only then, if she says, yes, sir, may I please have that information, then he may list it. I'm guessing that's what she's saying here. Anyway, then she says, never mind, though. Ruined it. But I appreciate you looking it up, though. What? All right, well, he replies, those are things that will help with recovery. Yeah, it can. I mean, I'm not sure what all you wanted me to say, but I just listed the recovery methods that were suggested. There isn't much over-the-counter-wise besides the basics. It's pretty much just cleaning out the poisons with fluids. Then she says, sir, I asked you if you looked it up. That was a yes or no question. I didn't ask for a list of things. I'm still not asking, but you're still going. You ruined something I thought was cute with a very high-key, slow moment, no offense. But like, what? Wow, I guess he has to follow her script for like how to talk, I guess? I don't know. He replies, understand, from my perspective, I legitimately thought you were asking for suggestions when you asked if I looked up recovery options. Yeah, we all would have assumed that. The questions you asked weren't clear. I'm not sure why me looking up recovery options is different from me listing them when both led to a yes. And then she says, my question was a yes or no question. It was clear. Sigh. Just never mind. I'm going to bed now. Good night. What a weird conversation. And then he continues on in his story. So I guess my question is, did I genuinely misread what she was asking? I thought by her asking if I looked up the recovery methods, I thought she was asking me a list of things, but I guess she just wanted a yes or no. My question is, what's the difference in how I responded? Or should I have said yes or no? I guess I just thought saying yes would be dry and show no level of care, but I guess she just wanted me to say yes or no. Yeah, like if you just respond with a yes, then feels like you're putting no effort in. You're just a lazy guy, just like, yeah, I looked it up. Shut up, go away, you know? Top comment says, but if you just said yes, wouldn't she then be asking what the actual helpful things are? To my mind, if you're asking what things help in recovery, you actually want to know what they are. This is exactly what I was thinking too. Sounds like she was just looking for a reason to be upset, and no answer he gave would have been the right one. Bro needs to run away. Yep, pretty much. I think that's what this is. Just get yourself out of this situation. It's not worth it. Our next story is from CyberJeff2077. Am I overreacting for being frustrated that I repeatedly scare my girlfriend? I, 31 male, am feeling extremely frustrated that I scare my 34 female girlfriend all the time. For context, we've been dating for almost 4 years and have lived together for the last year and a half. It seems that whenever I enter a room or walk around a corner, she gets scared and jumps and yells. This happens about 2 to 3 times a day. Sometimes it happens when she's cooking or watching TV, which I don't find frustrating because that happens to everyone when distracted. Other times, she gets spooked and yells regardless, despite me relocating mid-conversation with her. Oh my gosh. I think the boiling point of my frustration was this morning at 3 a.m., where I was awoken to her screaming at me in bed. This is the second time it happened, as the first time was when I cut my hair from a giant afro to bald, and she didn't recognize me as she was waking up. Oh my gosh, so they're just literally sleeping in bed together. They go to bed together, and then she wakes up in the night, and then just starts screaming that there's a stranger in her bed just randomly. It's a little freaky. I am a pretty big guy, but I've never used my size to intimidate or coerce her, or anybody for that matter. When we have arguments, we always make sure that we respect each other and each other's boundaries. We avoid cheap shots, and if anything, the lack of words said is something we should work on. I've also never put my hands on her and never would. I think we have a healthy, strong relationship. I've voiced my frustrations, and she promises that she's not afraid of me, but it's pretty demoralizing when your girlfriend Wilhelm screams every other interaction. It makes me feel like I'm a bad person and an even worse protector. She's been very open about her past experiences and relationships, and has never dealt with domestic abuse or assault from other men, fortunately. If it was a trauma response, then I'd take it less personal and would support her with therapy and counseling to work through it. The absence of a known trigger makes me feel like I'm her fear trigger. I'm not mad at her for being jumpy, but I'm frustrated that it happens so frequently with no clear solution. When she was getting ready for work this morning, I walked over to the living room to express my feelings about the 3 a.m. scream, and I again scared her. I've shut down pretty hard since then, but want to talk about this tonight with her. I want to marry her, and I probably would have proposed this fall if I didn't get laid off in May. I just don't know what to do and how to redirect my frustration so I don't accidentally or eventually take it out on her. All right, number one, no matter how frustrated you are, don't take it out on her. That's not okay. But I guess I do get that feeling of like, she seems to be afraid of me. It makes me just feel like a horrible person. It makes me feel like a horrible partner. I get that feeling, but it really just sounds like she's just a terrified person and just scared of literally anything she doesn't expect. And I don't know, if I'm living with my boyfriend or girlfriend or something, I guess I expect them to show up on occasion. I would hope so. So not really sure why she doesn't expect you, but maybe she's just really, really scared and jumpy. Everything else you're saying, it doesn't sound like she's like terrified of you, so I don't know. Top comment says, does she maybe have an undiagnosed hearing problem? And then someone replies, solid theory, because if her peripheral hearing is totally shot, people are basically teleporting into her personal space without warning. An audio check could explain everything. Yeah, I guess if you don't hear someone coming, maybe you'd get scared. I guess I would still expect like my partner to be in my house with me and walk up sometimes. Also, it just sounds like maybe her brain, like the fear reaction always happens first. And then she's got a high ping or something because like way later she realizes, oh, normal, we're good. So I'm guessing she just really just gets easily startled, and it takes quite a while for her brain to actually power up and be like, oh, clocked it. That's my boyfriend. Oh, okay, here we go. Honestly, kind of sounds like just something that if you marry this person, you're just going to have to deal with for the rest of your life. It's just one of the quirks about her. And if you can't handle it, unfortunately, you got to get out, man. And our last story is written by PP Cheeto. That's nasty. Found between him and his coworker. Am I overreacting? Now we've got screenshots from a phone. We're going to read these texts before we get into the story. All right, we've got a text conversation, and it looks like the boyfriend with the phone is the first person who reaches out to this number. And he says, hey, guess who this is? And then the person says, God? No, but that would be cool though. It's Kyle. I got your note. Oh, I'm really glad you texted. I wasn't sure if you would. So, what you think? Well, I was flattered, but I do have a girlfriend. And then it's like a sad emoji, like, old ASCII character. Okay, if a guy ever says, I have a girlfriend, like when someone's coming onto them, and if it's just like, oh, I have a girlfriend, just a statement or like a happy statement, that's fine, cool. Setting that boundary, being like, hold up. But if you ever said, unfortunately, I have a girlfriend, or if you say, I have a girlfriend in a sad tone with a sad face or with a sad emoji, yeah, it just means you want to cheat. And then she says, oh, I'm not surprised that a guy like you would, and I can respect that. Nothing to lose, to confess. And then he replies to that, I do think you're pretty and very cool. So there's that. Oh my gosh, is this guy in like early high school, like the way he's texting? And then she responds with a heart emoji on that. And then she says, don't do this to me, Nick. Oh, well, I called him Kyle and that was censored, but I guess we're not censoring Nick anymore. Well, all right. And then she says, I'm just kidding. Thank you. I don't think I was very good at hiding my crush though. Yeah, I could kinda tell. No, it was all in your head. I'm very slick. Hey, most girls make it super difficult, so I really respect the note in the locker. If I was single, we would be hanging out. Okay, I think that these actually might just be children. I'm guessing the person taking these pictures is getting emotional, which fully understandable, but it's kind of getting hard to read the text because you're like taking pictures while you're like actively scrolling really quickly. So we're gonna do our best here. I try not to be difficult. Guess I was feeling really confident too, but it's great that you know. And then she says, call me when you're single. He says, okay, I will, haha. Girl, get out. You're probably a kid. Just get out of this. This is stupid. All right, these people are no older than 17 because she responds, and let me drive your car too? That's a maybe. Then she says, I can make maybes possible. I'll be selfish and say I'd still want to hang out with you because that might be a maybe too. And then he says, it's maybe a maybe. Maybe we could do whatever you want and have fun, but that's only a maybe. Okay, I am really having a hard time reading these at this point, but yeah, now we're getting into some weird stuff. He's like, whatever I wanted. Yeah, pretty much whatever you want. Maybe. The amount of maybes in this is going to make me crash out. And then she says, you're killing me. Now you're killing me. Can't help it. Sorry, I'm attracted to you. I think you're attractive too. Maybe we should hang out. I have to think about it. I also have to go to bed because I have to get up at 4. Hey, that's totally fair. Don't feel pressured to say yes to me. I understand. I didn't expect to get this far. And then some other day she texts back, do I get a birthday present? Oh my gosh, kids are crazy. Okay, so I did not date when I was a kid. Never had anyone interested in me. If you look at pictures of me back then, you'll know exactly why. But from what I hear, maybe I'm glad that I didn't, because this is a bunch of ridiculousness. People definitely shouldn't be dating when their brains are so underdeveloped that they talk like this. I don't know. To be fair, though, there's stories that we read about people in their 50s who are just as immature. So maybe some people just never mature. And now here is the story. I don't have proof of them actually doing anything. He said that there was a cute cashier at work, but he wasn't into her. I asked to see their texts, and he said there was nothing. Showed me a message thread with her last text only, because he deleted everything else, and it was in his recently deleted. So I opened it in front of him, and he tried to stop me, and I just read all of it, and now he thinks I'm gonna leave him. You should. He's talked this way about other girls at work, so who knows if he's done anything with them. My heart hurts so bad. Is this cheating? Am I overreacting by being so hurt? I would never do this to him. He claims it's because he wanted to be nice and not reject her in a rude way. I'm thinking about leaving, but just the day before I found this, he was telling me he wants to get married and have kids with me. We've been together 4 years. Okay. Maybe they're not like actually in high school, but they've got to be like early 20s. He's like, claims that he wants to be nice and not reject her in her rude way. No, he does sad emojis to say that he has a girlfriend and then keeps talking to her, entertaining the whole conversation when she's obviously trying to get with him, and then calls her like pretty and stuff. Like, no, you're not allowed to do that. That's not okay. And then the top comment is a gif of throwing a guy in a dumpster. Yep, about the only response I have for this too. Gosh, that was awful. Also, just realizing this, it seems like she left her number in his locker, and he grabs the sticky note and he reads it and he's like, ooh, a girl's number. I have a girlfriend. Maybe I should. No, I'm gonna go and put it in my phone and I'm going to talk to this person. He started the conversation on the phone. Straight to the dumpster with you, boy. When you're at work and find a message in your locker, it's a phone number, and you unfortunately have a girlfriend, so you respond anyway, 'cause you're an idiot belonging in a dumpster. She should just throw you away. You entertain the thought of cheating with so many maybes, and you might let her ride in your car. You might even let her drive, but you have a girlfriend at home, and she's gonna throw you in a dumpster, because that's what you deserve. All right, and that was all of our stories for today. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all those things, and I will see you in the next video.